Back here at Hangtown, you're watching Ken Roxon. This is the parade lap, the chance for the riders to check this track out before they go racing. Earlier in the day, he won the first moto with the 450 class. Now, Roxon is your 2014 champion of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, but last year didn't go the way he wanted. We had a chance to catch up with him a few days ago, and it turns out his training program is just starting to come together better than ever, perhaps, in 2016.
Going into Sacramento, I think we have, there's quite a few riders out there that, have a good chance of, winning races and definitely winning the title. You can see, like Tomek last year, he was killing it in the beginning. But things can end quick, and it's, again, a long season. But obviously now with Ryan being that good, you cannot just, obviously you got to be consistent, but just a podium finish sometimes is almost not good enough. So it's tough, especially coming from Supercross now. We don't have a lot of time to really get ready, so I think all of us are probably going to progress, after a few races and climb up the ladder. My program that I've created together with the people that I got around is working really good at the moment. I have, in my eyes, the perfect fitness program that I think I need, and I'm, after 17 rounds of Supercross now, I'm absolutely not over it. Actually, it's the other way. I've learned a lot this year, together with my trainer and my training partner, that I am all about, keep going and just especially be consistent at a high level, where in previous years I would go up and then towards the end I would bog down. But I feel like we finally figured out what I need, and I think I can still get better.
Roxon taking his Suzuki to the first moto win, and another Suzuki. Blake Baggett was a strong third. We'll tell you more about that when we come back, but I'll tell you what, 2 yellow bikes out of 3 on the podium, things starting out well for them. Question is, can they cap it in Moto 2 and do it again? We're back. Riders have completed their sight lap of Hangtown. It's their last chance to survey all the changes that have been made to this track when the 250 riders are out there hammering it. And they'll be racing in just a moment. But first, let's send it to Georgia Lindsay with the GoPro starting gate.
Yes, as we talked about earlier, it was a great first moto for Suzuki, taking 2 of those places in the top 3. However, it wasn't a great day for the Suzuki Yoshimura rider of James Stewart. He had a huge crash in that first moto. He toppled over a berm. The bike landed on him. Asterix came to him, took care of him. He didn't move that quickly. He got taken off by the Asterix medical crew with a sling on his left arm. I spoke to one of the team members. They said he's in a lot of pain right now. He hasn't lined up for this race. So Blake Baggett on the number 4 is going to have to really knuckle down and see if he can finish the second moto on the podium again.
And we have GoPro onboard actually here of Stewart, the crash. Off the track. And that was a big one. All right, so that's Stewart taking a ride. That's the end of the first moto. We're ready to go racing here in moto number 2 and determine today's overall winner from Hangtown. Don't go anywhere. Hey, we're going to show you some of the areas riders can make up time on this track, courtesy of our friends at Live Pro. We've got some data. Jason Anderson, 2 different practice sessions. Track gets a little rougher, and you see how much slower he goes.
Well, if you look at the 2 bubbles, the one in front is from first practice, and that's because the track is smoother, and you can see the speed differentials when it slows down. Look at that, 52 as opposed to 51. Not a huge difference there, but 52 to 48, different part of the track. Look at that, Jason Anderson pulling away from himself, and look at that, 3.7 mile an hour difference. So as the track gets choppier, you're going to see the lap times dropping, getting slower and slower. But before we take off, let's get...
Hey, just want to remind, we'll hand out the Deltran battery tender RC Hard Charger award to the rider that makes the most passes in this moto. Let's go racing. Final moto of the day, and it's Ryan Dungey with a clear early lead. Oh, Justin Barcia tried to steal the whole shot from him, but Dungey has it. Barcia the 51 second, but not for long. Here comes Ken Roxon.
Ken Roxon doing what he did in the first moto, just coming out strong. Watch him right here, already trying to look at Dungey up the inside. Roxon, not a lot of patience from him today, but I like it. He's come out and just setting the tone. And that was one of the keys to the moto, because we said this opening round often does.
Mistake by Dungey. Roxon takes advantage. Sorry to cut you off, but hey, Roxon did to him.
Absolutely. Yeah, he cut him off right there. Oh, see the
mistake by Roxon.
Almost lost the front end. Luckily had that leg out up front, pulled the bike back up. But opening laps, they lay some water down because, believe it or not, they had to lay water down even after the rain showers we had early in the day. It's dried out, it's gotten dry, they've thrown down some water, so the track has changed between motos a lot.
And Roczen already starting to put a little distance between himself and Dungey. He was so fast on the first lap of Moto 1, and he's doing it again on the first lap of Moto 2. Dungey, your defending series champ on the Red Bull KTM. It is Roczen, your 2014 champ on the Soaring Eagle. Jimmy John Suzuki. Justin Barcia is third. What is KTM keys to the Moto, Grant?
Well, start strong, especially in this class. It usually leads to solid points as well as setting the tone for the remainder of the season. Look at last year. We saw Tomac start off so strong, and the fact that he took himself out of the series probably eliminated any chance of winning, but he looked like the guy to beat. I mean, we were talking about Tomac last year, so definitely if you have those keys to the Moto, it'll set the tone of the season, and Roczen is showing why he was the 2014 champ.
Got everything dialed in this year. Last year was a huge struggle at this race. Came in with a back injury and finished 19th in the first Moto of the year. This year he finished first in the first Moto of the year. How about Barcia? He needs to flip the switch. A rough year in Supercross, but he is third right now and trying to turn it around here in Motocross and doing a good job, at least early in this second Moto, keeping Dungey in his sights. Josh Grant is in fourth. Georgia, what do you have on the 51 of Barcia?
Yes, I did say to him, you know, you had a tough Supercross season. How are you feeling going into outdoors? And he said, you know what, my bike is actually awesome. We didn't have to make a lot of changes, just the upgrade of the year of the bike. But everything as far as that goes, he said, I'm feeling really good, 100% healthy. I'm just going to take it easy, and I think I'm going to be good.
Yeah, he was on the Motocross of Nations team, which is a team event where riders from different countries are selected. And that's a month after this season ends. So he had a whole month of extra testing time with the team at the end of last season, and they feel that that's given them a head start this year. And Barcia's very happy with his bike. Third is, he's third. Fourth is Josh Grant on the 33 right behind him. And then Jason Anderson fifth. Just like Moto number 1, there is a deep field of very talented riders, and they're close. There's Grant on the Monster Energy Kawasaki. He's been fast here at Hangtown through the years, but he almost threw it away.
Man, I hate when you see guys swap out like that. That section's caught a lot of top riders out over the last few years. One of those things, it's not the most technical section, but add in the ruts when you're trying to change direction, all of a sudden it becomes a lot more gnarlier. But look at Jason Anderson. He is on the gas. Hasn't had quite the starts between Moto 1 and Moto 2, but his pace and his tenacity is unbelievable. This youngster really pushing hard, but we talked about it. I think one of the reasons that he's had some maturity and growth is being able to train with guys like Ryan Dungey and being on the same training program, as well as for guys like Marvin Musquin. So I think it's helping all of them.
Anderson in the 21 trying to get Grant on the 33. Anderson in the Rockstar Energy Racing Husqvarna can't quite make the move, and I believe that's Eli Tomac now right behind him, last year's winner of this event, and fourth in the first Moto, into the half pipe and out. I'll tell you what, Grant, he's always that dark horse. He can go as fast as anybody. If he's on his game, not going to be easy for Anderson or anyone to get around him.
Great to see Josh Grant get the opportunity to be on a factory Kawasaki team and making the most of it. Like you said, Josh Grant, one of those guys, give him a whole shot and you go, oh, what's going to happen? Are we going to see a Moto winner here? So doing what he's supposed to do, getting solid results, and not to mention next weekend we go to Josh Grant's backyard at Glen Helen, and we've seen what he's done there in the past. Yeah. So
just another guy he won a Moto there.
Exactly, just another guy you got to keep in the back of your mind.
Tomac is at the back of this pack. You've got Grant and Anderson. That's fourth and fifth. Tomac sixth. You can see his green fender popping in there from time to time. And then behind him, you've got Phil Nicoletti, Blake Baggett, who was so strong in Moto number 1. 8th at the moment. Marvin Musquin, Trey Kennard, 10th. Your leader is Roczen. Second is Dungey, and Justin Barcia still close behind him in third.
See the guys at the moment still trying to look for different lines, looking for maybe the smoother part around the track, another option, stay out of those deep ruts on the inside. You see Anderson, he's going, okay, Josh, you're going to protect the inside. I want to find the smooth outside lines and just carry that momentum. And usually it's only a matter of time before that pays off, because guys on the inside cannot go through the deepest ruts as fast as possible all the time without making a mistake eventually. Yeah,
Anderson, as we saw him do a lot in the Moto earlier today, wow, he's doing everything completely different than Grant, including jumping that big Fly Racing 150-foot triple. Everywhere Grant goes, Anderson's in a different spot on the track to try to pass him.
He looks like he's going to square him up. Gets the drive. I think he's got it there. Nice move from Anderson. You see, he just squared up that corner, cut up the inside, put his bike in the way. Textbook pass.
Eli Tomac has now joined this fight on the number 3. So it's 2 Monster Energy Kawasaki's duking it out, which would be 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
Georgia Lindsay has been through a lot today as far as the weather is concerned, but it looks pretty good right now. What's it like down there?
Yes, we did have rain earlier in the day, as you guys were saying, even so much that they had to water the track again because the sun came out. It's actually beautiful out here right now, but it has to be the first time we've been at Hangtown and been in the 60s. You know, the weather is unbelievable. It's so much cooler. These guys are used to having to really hydrate and not get overheated at these races at Hangtown, and yet it's completely different. So the guys are a lot calmer probably because of this weather, and people that normally get affected by the heat today, they're not going to be.
Well, Tomac's heating up, trying to go to the inside on his teammate Grant. Can't get around him. And Anderson's just in front of them. We'll keep focused on this battle. Roxon has already opened up a 4-second gap on Dungey up front. And Barsha 2 seconds behind Dungey in 3rd. You get glimpses of Dungey and Barsha ahead of this group, but you don't see Roxon. Here is Tomac on the outside.
That battle of teammates. I wonder how long Tomac's going to have the patience and how hard Grant's going to try and keep him behind him. But Eli got the run up the inside. I think he'll seal it right here. Josh also knowing, hey, it's my teammate. If he's got a quicker pace, better off getting behind him and trying to run with him through the front.
And Tomac on that outside didn't lift all the way up that hill. And then at the top, he had enough speed to make the pass and get away a little bit from Grant. So the next rider we'll have to work on is Anderson. That would be 4th. And just behind him, you have Blake Baggett here, Yoshimura Suzuki, number 4. Great in the first moto. Tomac had a terrible start, passed a ton of riders coming forward, including Baggett. And then Baggett stayed with him, and late in the race, passed Tomac back. We were theorizing it had been years since anyone had actually passed Tomac in one of these races. So Baggett here on the 4 is on his game today, but doesn't have the starts that he wanted. So he's got to go to work again like he did in Moto 1. And you've got 34, Phil Nicoletti, teammate of Barsha on the Monster Energy, Auto Trader, Toyota, Yamaha. That's Joe Gibbs Racing putting that bike together. Then Trey Kennard on the factory Honda, number 41 right behind him.
Kennard's looked good today. Made a little mistake in Moto 1, tucked the front end in going into turn 3 and recovered quite nicely, but I'm sure for him, if you look on paper, he's going, it's not the result I wanted.
Right.
But his riding has been very good. Look at this, up the inside of Nicoletti, squares it up, title line, gets on the power earlier. Beautiful pass by Trey Kennard. Now he can go and set his sight on Baggett, who's got great pace. So maybe these guys can link up and really kind of pack this front group back up.
Baggett all the way on the outside on that uphill. And Kennard starts on the inside. They all end up on the outside at the bottom. So the lines have changed quite a bit. So Ken Roxon doing serious damage. Moto 1 got away from them. He's doing it again in Moto 2, a 5.5 second lead. He continues to circulate a good 2 to 2 seconds a lap quicker than anyone else. We'll go the GoPro track preview. This is Cole Seeley leading in Moto 1, but Ken Roxon is all over it.
Yeah, you'll see a yellow fender come in up the inside right about now. Look at that. Wow. Roxon, ever the opportunist. The door was slightly open, took full advantage, and that was a loss solely with C of the 94.
So that's what it looked like in Moto 1 as Roxon was able to take the lead. Didn't take it much longer here in Moto 2. You see Seeley was trying to hold on and keep him in sight earlier. He wasn't able to do it. Great battle for 3rd here. Lucas Oil Pro Motocross opening round of the season. Jason Anderson of the 21 just got around Justin Barsha to take 3rd place away, and they have Eli Tomac right behind them. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, very close. Up front, it's Ryan Dungey in 2nd, and Ken Roxon in the lead. They have separated themselves from the field.
What's also been nice to see today, whether it's been 250 or 450s, to see 6 manufacturers up front. It's beautiful to see for the sport. Husky really making a good resurgence back in the motocross. We saw in the 250 class, Zach Osborne with a solid result, and now Jason Anderson.
Yeah, making those Huskies look good. Right now you got a Yamaha and a Kawasaki battling it out. Barsha and Tomac, they're not strangers to each other. There's Ben Shiremeyer, the mechanic, for Barsha trying to cheer his guy on.
See, he put on the pit board fine lines. Basically, these mechanics know later in the race, if Barsha gets a little tense and sticks with his lines, those lines deteriorate because that's usually where most of the guys are going. So you start having to look around the track, square something up, rail the outside, cut up to the inside, whatever it may be. Just work around. Look at the event points. Roxon with a perfect 1-1 would get 50 points. Dungy with a 2-2, 22 and 22 points, 44, 6 behind. Anderson would be on the podium right now, but if Tomac can make this pass, I think that would have just changed the final podium spot. Yes, it does.
And he does make the pass, and that would put him into third overall. The next time they come through the finish line, they'll reset the results. So Tomac has a move on Barsha. Now, Barsha, I'm sure, is not happy about getting passed here by Anderson and Tomac, but it's at least somewhat of a rebuild from how terrible Supercross went for him. He's just looking to build some momentum, and at least he's in the top 5. He was struggling to even get top 10s indoors, and he started even worse than this last year, and then about halfway through the year, he started winning races. So they're all trying to get a feel for things at the opener. And as great as the performance for Roxon is today, we have seen Hangtown lead some strange results. Somebody dominates, and then it doesn't actually happen again as the year goes on. In the opening round, you never quite know what to make of it.
No, it's very true. You can miss the setup. You can ride tense with arm pump. Oh,
yep.
Marvin Muscat making a pass there on Nicoletti, and that was for 9th position. So solid ride for Nicoletti.
Yep. 11th at Moto 1.
Yeah, with Marvin, we expect him to be at least up here, but for Phil Nicoletti, nice solid ride, especially with the depth. I mean, he might be sitting in 10th place, but there are so many talented riders in this class right now, and with everyone being healthy, a top 10 is a great feat.
Yeah, it is deep. I know we keep saying it over and over, but we counted 20 different riders on factory-supported bikes, so that's 20 riders that have all the tools and equipment to go out and win these races. Muscan, he's got his mechanic, Frank Latham, cheering him on.
Yes, he's basically saying, you've got him, Frankie. The glass is always half full when he's in the mechanics area. He's like, you've got him.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, he's way up the track.
Yeah, oh, you're right there. He's only 5 seconds behind Grant, who'd be the next one in order.
Exactly.
Here's Cole Seeley, who had a great run in the first moto, and just outside the top 10 here at the start, changing everything for him halfway through this thing. And we can remind you, 15 minutes to go in this moto, and in 15 minutes you can save 15% or more on your car insurance. Hey, speaking of Geico, there's the Geico Honda 450 of Justin Bogle. Seeley was 11th, Bogle 12th. Andrew Short making his return to racing, and what will be his final season would be behind him. You see the orange KTM, that's 13th. BTOsports.com backing Short. Here he comes.
Shorty, also the oldest guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't quote that, but the oldest factory-backed rider in our sport, him and Chad Reed in their mid-30s. So for Shorty, great career. I've had the luxury of racing with this guy. Great character, true gentleman. Hopefully he has a fantastic final season.
Yep, so it's time to spend time with the family. So not going to return to racing next year. He'll be involved, I'm sure, in this industry and also be riding motorcycles in some capacity, I guarantee you, next year, just not as a professional racer. Short comes through. Then it's his teammate, Benny Bloss. Tallest guy out here, I think 6'5", a pro rookie. What do you know about Bloss?
Georgia? I am sincerely impressed with Benny Bloss right now. It's the first race of the outdoor season on that BTO KTM, and he is unbelievable. Like you just said, he is 6'4". He's unbelievable. He makes it look like he's riding a pit bike around the track, which has to be tough being that tall. But right now, holding off Weston Pike and Justin Brayton is unbelievable. He's been training out in Oklahoma. He's one of our Oklahomies, as we say, training with Robbie Rayner and riding out in Oklahoma. But it's an unbelievable ride for him. He is a very fast guy, and I think he's only going to improve from this point onwards.
Yeah, a year ago, he was an amateur. He raced the very final event of the year last year as a pro. So it's actually only his second professional motocross race. And considering the talent out here, not too bad, yeah.
No, really good. Man, he does look tall, especially because I'm one of the short guys. You know, look at him like, geez, he looks so tall on that bike.
Weston Pike, who had a tough Moto 1 on the 28. And Cody Cooper back in action, a New Zealander who spent a few years full-time with us in the United States, looking good on the 121.
And how about, let's give it a little shout-out to all our Kiwi supporters tuning in live from New Zealand, rooting on their local hero, Cody Cooper, out here with former world champion Shane King. And these guys having a good time while out here. Great ride for Cody.
They always have a good time, don't they?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen Cody in a bad mood.
No,
the guy was
no.
always pumped when he was over here.
Yeah, just happy camper, as we call it.
So that is Cooper in 16th behind Bloss. And then it should be, well, we saw Pike come through as well. Justin Brayton will be the next rider, we believe, in line behind Cooper. Brayton also on the VTOsports.com KTM. Yeah, you see his orange fender starting to peek in there behind the 121 of Cooper. Oh, Justin Barcia's got more contenders to deal with. Blake Baggett. This is when El Chupacabra likes to strike second half of the race. We're there, and so is Baggett. Trying to get the Suzuki one position further forward. This would be for 6th.
He's got the title line. Can he make it happen? No, Barcia carries the momentum the long way around. Baggett looking good today, and you've got to imagine that the way he's been riding, he'll find a way around Barcia. Still plenty of time, 11 and a half minutes. Then they'll get the 2-lap board. So with that, you could say about 8 laps to go when they cross the finish line. Probably about 7.
Baggett working hard, carrying speed, but cannot find an opening with Barcia, who's very tough to pass.
Yeah, Barcia, when he wants to be, he can make that Yamaha seem like a side-by-side rather than a dirt bike. So, catching Barcia is one thing, getting around him is another thing. And then if you get around him, he's going to probably try and return the favor immediately.
These guys are quite highly tuned athletes to be able to carry this pace so late in the race. But I did stop by the Suzuki truck to talk to Baggett early this morning, and he said, hey, you want some breakfast? And he was sitting down to a plate of bacon and eggs. And I said, no, you're not going to eat that. And he sure as heck did. Hey, it appears to be working for him. The fat and sodium that he stored into his system this morning, as we get down to the latter portion of the day, he is stronger than ever, as he usually is, and making that work for him. So I guess that's the breakfast of champions.
There you go, yeah. Bacon goes with everything. Not to mention, with these guys training so hard, sometimes they need just the fat. They just need something in their bodies, because here's the truth. Fat is long-term energy. If you don't have any to begin the season, if you're lean and mean, you're probably going to burn out during the season because you have no reserves.
He's got something in reserve right now as he keeps attacking Barcia. And Barcia's probably wondering what is in this guy, because this is what Baggett does. And they used to deal with each other like this in their days in the 250 class. Baggett always does his best work late in the moto, and Barcia's always a good starter. So they've had great battles through the years on the small bikes, and now they're hooking it up on 450s. Baggett, though, Barcia has responded. He's pulled back away.
He's not giving up. That's what I said. Barcia will never roll over. He's pushing. In fact, it'll motivate him to push just a little bit extra. Like, Barcia's the kind of guy, he's like, you're not getting around me, man. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, Barcia's one of those guys, the lap times in practice don't always tell the story. He's a racer. You bring the challenge, he just ups his pace and tries to fend you off. Roczen continuing to lead here at Hangtown. Back here at Hangtown, Ken Roczen trying to put the beat down on everyone. And we'll continue this action, but when it's over, check out Mecum Auto Auctions. That's going to be our next show here at NBCSN. We headed the racing capital of the world to wheel and deal with over 1,000 vintage rides and collector cars hitting the auction block floor. That's Mecum Auto Auctions next on NBCSN. You won't want to be bidding for any of these machines when this is over, because these vehicles have gone through some punishment today. 2 motos nearly in the books at Hangtown. They've been roosted, they've been ridden hard in some rain, in some dust. Some of the dirt's just about perfect in between. You're watching Josh Grant fighting it out with Marvin Musquin. That is a battle for 8th and 9th. Grant out of Southern California, Musquin out of France. It's Musquin's first race in motocross on a 450. Was so strong last year in the 250 division. Looking pretty strong in the big bike right now as he jumps in front of Grant.
Yeah, last time unable to quite do that, but he had just, as he chops the line off, makes sure he seals the deal there. Marvin tried basically to do the same thing the previous lap, but he needed an extra foot or two to actually chop the nose off Josh Grant. And that time he was just close enough, able to close the door. Oh, a little mistake there.
That was a little scary. He was right on the edge in front of that jump. Now up ahead of them, Blake Baggett has made the move on Justin Barcia. Now that's one position far forward to this. Barcia's on the 51. Yep.
Oh, this was the little switcheroo, and then watch the lap here. I don't think it really holds Barcia up. He's just slightly indecisive, tries to change his line, but Baggett was already there on the inside.
So that moves Baggett to 6th, Barcia to 7th, and Muscan 8th, Grant 9th, Phil Nicoletti 10th, Cole Seeley 11th. Haven't seen much of this guy, and I'm talking about everyone else in the field. Ken Roczen has run away from everyone today. I think I know the speed secret. You want to hear it?
Tell me.
I was talking to Ken yesterday. They all rode the track on Thursday press day, so they were all here, but they couldn't ride. Yesterday they were using the track for amateur racing. He had nothing to do, so he and his girlfriend Courtney went and got lunch. And next door there was a manicure, pedicure place, and Ken said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a pedicure. Ken Roczen. And I said, if you win, I'm going to point this out as the potential speed secret, and then everybody's going to have to do it before Glenn Helen. So yes, got a pedicure yesterday and has absolutely dominated the races today. It's got to be something.
Maybe it was just a little quality time with the misses and getting away from the dirt bike track. Who knows?
Yeah.
A lot of times with these guys, you always just need to hit the reset button just a little bit, take their mind off things. But Kenny got that personality, casual, laid back, easygoing, and that's probably why too his personality is also has been figuring out his training regime. He's not a guy that can go and pound the pavement on a bicycle or do all that stuff. He's a very naturally talented rider. I think for him, he's got to be happy to be fast, not necessarily worked over the top fitness.
Yeah, he's definitely in awesome shape, no doubt about it, but he's mixing in some fun, and that's usually his deal, man. He's kind of a low drama guy, and that really helped last year. The season really got away from him, but he kept it together with that team. Oh, Baggett going after Kennard. Let's see what happens here. Whoa, down!
He almost saved that too. He almost had that, but the slickness just got him.
Yep.
Looked like he hit his chin bar on his helmet a little bit.
Oh, so tough break. He is now in 10th instead of 6th.
And that's going to change the overall podium position because that definitely has taken him off a podium contention overall. Dungey, the diesel, we could say not a great day for him, but 2-2.
That's so Ryan Dungey, man. His worst day is going to be a 2-2.
Yeah.
You were talking earlier, this track might not be the best for him. He's gotten a few moto wins here and there, but never an overall, which this is a guy
surprising.
That's
where he's won, because he's won pretty much everywhere. But just this place doesn't really gel with him, not his favorite place. So for Dungey, I think he's going to walk away, in my opinion, pretty happy with 44 points, because he knows that there's a bunch of tracks coming up in the near future that he's won at, he feels good at, and he expects to win at again.
38 career wins in this class for Dungey, but none of them here at Hangtown. And hey, last year he finished 2nd, but he was a minute and a half behind Eli Tomac. Now he's only 6 seconds behind Roczen, so progress in some way for him. Jason Anderson, what a ride. Strong in 3rd, and really not that far off of Dungey either.
Well, he looks like he's really in great shape because late in the motors, this guy, his body is all over the bike, working it, trying to get the wheels to the ground, using, basically every ounce of effort to gain every 100th and 10th of a second. Great to see that fighting late in the race.
Tomac 4th, and was not able to really make a dent in Anderson's gap on him. Now, this should be good enough for 3rd overall, Tomac, but it'd be a pair of 4th place finishes. And this is what Tomac's going to have to deal with now. 4-4 is a great way to start the season, no doubt about it. But everyone's going to compare it to the ghost of the 2015 Eli Tomac, who rode this track as well as we have probably seen anyone ever ride any track ever. That's just how good he was at the beginning of the year last year. But it
was mind-blowing how impressed. I mean, I wouldn't have believed it if someone had told me, but when I witnessed it, I was like, wow, that is incredible.
The problem last year wasn't the speed, it's that he crashed out of the 6th moto of the year at round 3 in Colorado, and it was done for the year, and injured both shoulders. He had to get surgery on both. He switched to the Kawasaki team this year, and took a little while in Supercross to get that thing dialed in, and I'm sure they're going to do more work after this, but certainly he's in title contention. Trey Kennard coming at you like a dark horse. Never count this guy out. And what I'm especially encouraged with Kennard is his starts have been so bad the last year and a half, just struggling to get out the line. He nearly hole shot the first moto, so there's signs of life for him out of the gate, and he can do the rest if he can just get a start.
Yeah, Trey, a very fast and talented rider, has been known to tip over and crash a little too frequently, which has hurt him as far as consistency goes. But like you said, Jason, if you get the start, you're up near the front and in the battles, you don't have to take those risks to make passes. So you basically put yourself in a better position to make fewer mistakes. Barsha trying not to make mistakes late here in the moto as the clock expires. So when these guys cross the finish line, 2-lap board will come out.
Barsha was 10th in Moto 1, so a nice step up here in Moto 2, running 6th behind Kennard. Again, I'm sure Barsha didn't come here hoping to go 10-6 in the Motos. That's why we're now already had circled on the goals. But it is at least a step forward than where he was in Supercross. He started the year out injured, had to get surgery on his thumb. When he came back, just struggled big time. So a nice reset for him. Muscan coming in behind him on the Red Bull KTM, number 25. 7th. And behind him would be Grant Nicoletti, and Seeley has climbed now into the top 10.
Yeah, I think for Marvin today, if you look at his lap times, they've been pretty good. Nothing too flashy, but let's put it this way, top 5 pace. But just not quite the start, either moto to go with his speed. So just holding back a little bit as far as the overall is concerned. But if you go look at the big picture, if you're Marvin, you go, okay, the pace is pretty good for round 1. Probably where he thought he might be. But with better starts, the results will come.
First 450 race in motocross for Marvin, who was in the thick of it for the 250 championship a year ago and adjusted into the big bike. And here's Josh Grant. All we can say is, wait till next weekend. Look out. He owns that track at Glen Helen.
Yeah, Josh goes very well at Glen Helen. I think it's not only a track he likes, it's basically been in his backyard, but I think it's a mental thing. He's got his family, his friends, everyone's there. And Filthy Phil.
Yeah, solid run here for Filthy Phil, the third man on the Joe Gibbs Racing team. And he'll be in it for the full outdoor tour. Now, Phil always told us that he hated California, hated staying out here, hated testing out here, hated the tracks out here, but actually been out here for a while, hangs out with the Martin brothers, or as he likes to call them, the little people, Alex and Jeremy, and he's been out here for several months, and although he wouldn't admit it, I think he's starting to like it, and he's done quite well. Last year at Glen Helen in California, he got 3rd in a moto, and today pretty solid, going to be hovering around the top 10 overall, so Phil's never going to give you too much positive information, but I think he's going to take something good here out of Hangtown. And then Cole Seeley, great ride in Moto 1, was 2nd for a lot of it, 3rd for a lot of it, and then just got pushed off the podium late. Didn't get the start in Moto 2, he is 10th.
And that just shows you, I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but with the depth in this class, the talent and all that, the starts are becoming so important because there's potentially 5-6 guys that run the same pace. But if you come out of the gate with a whole shot, you'll be on the podium. If you come out of the gate outside the top 10, you're probably going to end up 10th. So this really shows you. Vogel, nice way to start. You know, in Supercross this year, he really kind of progressed very organically, naturally, just going through the season.
Yep.
And we started seeing him near the front towards the latter part. Nice start to the season this year.
All right, Ken Roczen trying to put the finishing touches on a perfect day at Hangtown, and he did it in dominant fashion. Not just the gap. The gap's 11 seconds. That's impressive, but not huge. But the fact that he didn't really get good starts and had to pass everyone, and he did it in about, what, a lap in the first moto, a lap in the second moto is all he needed to blow by these guys. It's only round 1. You can never get too excited, but it's hard to start it much better than a 1-1 score. I guess you could win by a minute and a half like Tomac did last year. That's about it.
Well, you still get the same amount of points. But I think what's more important for him was to pull away from Dungey. Dungey had a clear shot at him. So for Roczen mentally, this was a big victory. Get the monkey off the back. Forget about what happened last year. Forget about, you know, everything else. Right now, he's in a good place. 1-1, perfect way to start the season. Ryan Dungey, very smart man. He's not flustered at all. He's going, hey, 2-2, I'm cool with that. Great points weekend.
Dungey's been in this position time and time again. Every year it's Dungey versus his challenger.
Yep.
And very often they get the edge on him early in the year and they're not there at the end of the year. Although Roczen was able to get him in 2014, and that one went down to the wire. We could be set for that type of championship showdown between these two again. You have a lot of other names that are going to try to insert themselves into that fight as well. And how about Roczen clearing the 150-foot fly racing jump, even on the last lap? What I like about Kenny, he's just low drama, man. Last year, things really had the chance to completely turn sideways. There was even an article his dad in Germany put in a magazine kind of trashing the team, and Kenny called me up and said, I got to speak my piece. Everything's good. Everything will be fine. We will work this out. Me and this team, we're going to get this bike figured out. We're going to start winning races. And a year later, that's exactly what he did. He didn't give up on them. They didn't give up on him. And here he is starting 2016, a whole lot better than he started in 2015. He's going to go 1-1 and serve notice that he's ready to try to take his championship back that he won 2 years ago. Ken Roczen dominates it in Hangtown.
What a performance by number 94. Carl Bentley, their team manager, very stoked. Davey Coombs in the background with the phone.
The master Instagrammer,
there you
Davey
go.
Coombs. That's high-five jousting, trophy jousting. Ken Roczen saluting the fans here at Hangtown. Well done. As the 94 takes the Soaring Eagle Jimmy John's RCH Suzuki to the center of the podium. Dungey solid as he always is in second. And Jason Anderson's going to finish third in the moto. Ahead of Eli Tomac, Trey Kennard's going to round out the top five. And there's the RCH Suzuki personnel. All right, they're very happy with this. Starting it off the right way. I don't think Ken's going to be too overly excited because he knows the real goal is the championship at the end of the year, but he was certainly freaky fast today, and George is going to talk to him about it.
Yes, well, what an unbelievable day for Ken Roczen. I can tell you what, this is a much better start to the season than last year. You're finishing with the overall first. Let him congratulate with his mechanic, Oscar. But huge congratulations. How do you feel going into this, obviously a long season, but starting it off on such a great note?
Like everybody say, you don't really know where you're at until you go racing, but I've been feeling really good. The track was very different today. You know, it had a really hard base and got super choppy there. So, yeah, it's definitely different than it usually is. Usually I rip it a little bit deeper, but the weather held up today, and you know, it's awesome to get two moto wins. You know, Soaring Eagle Jimmy John Suzuki worked great out there. We actually did some little changes in between, and yeah, it worked out, so I'm happy.
Huge congratulations, Ken Roczen, who will be getting the red plate also. Well done.
That's right, the 94 will have the red background as their points leader heading into Glen Helen next weekend. There's a whole bunch of riders going to fight for it, try to get it back from him next week. Back here at Hangtown, fans beginning to either make their way out of here or over here to the podium, celebrating with our top three riders. Let's send it back to Georgia.
Yes, with a second and a second overall. Ryan Dungey, congratulations, leaving Hangtown with 44 points. First race is out the way. What are you going to do moving on to next weekend?
No, just keep improving. You know, I guess the history kind of shows that Hangtown's never been a win, but it a lot better than last year. I got to say that. You know, we were struggling last year, but I was really happy with everything. You know, just we were right there, just wasn't able to make time, and Kenny was riding good today. You know, so we just keep building. You know, it's early in the season. You know, a lot of racing left, but I'm looking forward to the challenge. You know, I really feel like going back to California this week, a little testing and get ready for Glen Helen. So, like, a lot of racing, but I'm excited to keep making progress, you know.
Congratulations, second overall, and headed to Glen Helen. Well done, Ryan Dungey.
You know, he's going to be there all the way through it. We'll give you the Lucas Oil race recap here of the 450 moto we just completed. Dungey, a good start, getting that Red Bull KTM up front, but he has Justin Barcia on the 51. The Auto Trader Monster Yamaha to deal with. And where does Ken Roczen come from? Out of nowhere, third, second, and now first. And this is immediately.
Yeah, he didn't waste any time either moto. Ken Roczen straight to the front, and pretty much all everyone saw was the back of his jersey.
And that's it. Ken Roczen sweeps Hangtown. He basically did the exact same thing earlier in the day in Moto 1. That's only one race, though. And he knows that he's won plenty of championships before, but this is as strong a start as you could expect. Jason Anderson, a great ride for third. Eli Tomac was good, not as spectacular as last year, but fourth is okay. Barcia trying to rebuild his program right behind Kennard in sixth. Musquin, Grant, Nicoletti, and Seeley rounded out the top 10. They were pretty much in those positions the majority of the way. The heartbreaker was for Blake Baggett, who was trying to get into the top 5 and challenged Kennard, had a late crash, and finished outside of the top 10. Let's send it back to Georgia.
Yes, Eli Tomac finishing third overall in Hangtown. How do you feel about that, and what do you think you're going to change up and get ready for next weekend?
It's a start, but that's about it, really. It's pretty disappointing how I wasn't able to really, get up to that third place there in that moto. Was pushing as hard as I could. Just couldn't quite find the groove. Struggling a little bit here and there, and didn't help myself on the starts at all either. So go back this week, try to fine-tune some stuff, and see what we can make of it. And just thanks to the Monster Energy Kawasaki team, go back, grind away, and see what we can do.
Well, perfect. Well, congratulations on third place. I like Eli Tomac's honesty there. And to the right of me, we have the second place trophy right here. Now, I was talking to the guys. This is a replica belt from a John Wayne movie years ago. We have 4 rubies here. And then on the back side of it, we have a solid silver bullet. I can tell you what, these guys must be pumped to wear that. I would love to.
Wow, all right, well, it's right there. Give it a shot. Pilgrim, all right. John Wayne, hey, we're in the Old West. It's the Wild West, and they call it Hangtown. That's where the old hanging tree was. You break the law in those days, you got more than just those silver bullets to worry about. Here's your overall. Roxon wins, Dungey second. Tomac, the 4-4, ends up being third, just ahead of Anderson. Every one of these guys in the top 10 have something to be proud of. Solid points day, at least for them, and they're all going to get a lot better. Round 1 is a bit of a guessing game in a way in the first motocross of the season. We'll go back to Georgia.
Jason Anderson, congratulations on that third place. Now, moving forward to next weekend, you said earlier this morning you were feeling good, you're feeling ready, you're happy with the bike.
Yeah.
What do you think it's going to take to move to that next level?
Yeah, I think that first moto wasn't too good for me, but I rebounded and had a third in that second moto. But just going to try and stay up here on the podium, and I can't thank my Rockstar Energy Racing team enough. The Husqvarna was ripping out there, and, got a whole crew behind us. Paradise Chevrolet, Thor, Dragon, DVS Shoes, Pelton Clothing, and, there's a whole crew, and just want to thank everyone out there and hopefully be up here more often.
All right, thank you, Jason. Well done.
Here's the points there, a direct reflection of the overall today, because it's only one round in the books. Dungey only 6 points back, certainly in contention. Baggett, like we said, is the one that really missed out. He went from 6th to 19th with that crash in the second moto, so he's back in 10th after what could have been potentially a podium day. Here's the big celebration for these guys down there. I think you can see Roxon's happy, not going to be overjoyed. Don't try to go too crazy in the first moto. You saw Tomac there, a little reserved at that third. He knows he wants more than that.
Yeah, I mean, especially after last year. He came in probably expecting to win or hoping to win. So for him, third, just knowing the pace wasn't quite there for him, you can tell he's a little subdued. But Ken Roxon, exactly what he needed. Ryan Dungey, you can tell he even said, hey, this is not my house, but I'm happy with that. Tomac, I think maybe the most disappointed out of the 3.
All right, we'll see who can get even stronger as we go down to Southern California next weekend for Glen Helen. We'll show you the upcoming schedule. Glen Helen, that track is crazy, folks.
Yeah.
Huge first turn, very long straightaways, massive hills, massive jumps. You want to watch that. We'll have the first motos live on MAV TV at 4 Eastern next Saturday. We'll follow it up with 2 more live motos on NBCSN. So 4 straight hours of live motocross coming your way from Southern California next weekend. Either be there or watch it with us, and we'll have highlight shows at midweek on NBCSN every week. We have a race in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. So there it is. Ken Roxon starts the season out the right way. He goes 1-1. Joey Safaci did the same thing in the 250 division. But both these guys had their eyes on a much bigger prize than just that championship belt that they handed out on the podium today. They want the championship #1 plate. So they're not going to get too crazy with those 1-1 finishes. Not too much celebration tonight. They got to get back to work. But Grant, I think we saw this field is deep. Anything can happen next week.
Well, we set the tone for the season. We know who the contenders and who are the pretenders. Excited to see what we see next week at Glen Helen. Different track, Southern California. Who knows?
Could be different results. 2 riders. Certainly hope it's not. For Grant Langston and Georgia Lindsay, I'm Jason Wagan. Thanks for joining us from Hangtown. Hope you can stay with us all year. And big congrats to Joey Safaci and Ken Roxon.